take a minute while we're in it. Wait a minute, I don't want to leave.
What is up, Shaylas? Hope you guys are doing well today. We're back with another episode of Better with Medication. Today, we are talking digital disasters. We're jumping right in, and it's just me today. I'm actually pretty pumped to talk about this today because I think it's a very prominent issue. And so, socials that I have used include Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. I've pretty much been on all of them at some point, but I'm actually currently doing a social media hiatus. So I deleted Instagram, I deleted Facebook. I'm not really active on my TikTok anymore. I used to post every so often, and I used to just scroll for hours and hours, and I don't really anymore. Leaving Snapchat was actually extremely difficult. During the school year, I kept saying like, oh my gosh, I want to be done with this app. I want to get rid of this app. But for whatever reason, at the same time, I didn't want to go to school the next day and hear, well, why aren't you answering me? Why'd you get rid of Snap? I just didn't want to have to answer a bunch of questions, right? So I put aside my own wants or what I felt that I needed, and I said, you know what, forget it. It'll be easier this way to just, tough it out. So I kept using Snapchat. I kept the streaks or whatever, because I guess that's like, I don't know, for whatever reason to our generation, my generation, that's, I guess, like really important is keeping our streaks. Now, of course, to me, it's not that important. I don't really know what it means to other people, and I'd have to ask my friends, like, why is that so important to you? Like, I can understand, I guess, in some way, like, if it's important to you that we send each other a photo each day and there's a fire sign next to my name, like, I guess that's, if that's important to you, then okay. But again, I don't really find the value in that. I don't think that's going to help me get a job. Saying that I have a 1,375-day streak with my best friend is probably not something I'm planning on putting on my resume. It's not probably going to be the thing that gets me a job in the future. Looking at it from that standpoint, I just don't see the value. However, just because it's not super important to me doesn't mean that it's not to anybody else. So I understand that. Facebook was not really hard to leave. I wasn't really on there. I actually had this is how little I was on there. I actually had to communicate with my tattoo artist via Facebook because for whatever reason our text messages weren't sending well, and I was trying to get him the photos of what I was wanting. So he was like, all right, let's switch over to Facebook. We'll talk there. And I was like, perfect. Well, after I sent him the photos and we confirmed everything, I guess, a month or so went by because I had planned this way in advance. So a month or so goes by, and I guess he reaches back out for a confirmation. I didn't remember. After he said that, I remembered from my first appointment with him that, yes, he does reach back out for confirmation about appointments. Well, I guess he didn't go back to our text message conversation. He got on Facebook and sent the confirmation. And I never got back to him because I'm just not on Facebook like that. And so the day of my tattoo appointment comes and I show up. I had brought my best friend with me because she was planning to get one soon and she wanted to see what that was like. And so I was like, come with me. So we get there and my tattoo artist is not there. And we're like, oh, so I end up calling him and I'm like, hey, I had an appointment, and he's like, did you confirm it and everything? And I was like, so about that, babes, I fear I was not active on the app. And so, thankfully my tattoo artist is such an awesome dude. He said, okay, so he got out of bed and came to the shop so he could do my tat. And again, super awesome guy. But yeah, that's how little that I spend on that app. And that, I think that has a lot to do with the fact of how political Facebook is. I really don't like some of the political hatred and stuff I see on there, and some of the propaganda that gets pushed around. I'm really just not a fan of that kind of stuff. So that really pushes me away from Facebook. And I think Facebook moderators are terrible. I'll go into a comment section and there will just be people saying absolutely disgusting, vile things. And I'm like, no social media app should be allowing this. That is unacceptable. And so that makes me very angry because I don't like seeing somebody get flamed, get bullied in a comment section And I think we should all be able to voice our opinions, but I'm not sure at what point we forgot how to be civil with one another, and we think it's okay to call people slurs in a Facebook comment section. In my eyes, that will never ever be okay, but Facebook mods must think otherwise, because some of the things I have seen in posts and in comments is just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, do not miss Facebook. That one was disgusting. I really only had it because I had like a Facebook page because I owned a painting business, and I promoted it there, and then every once in a while I would, promote stuff about school events or whatever, and I put it on my Facebook, right? So, but other than that, Facebook did not serve me really any purpose. Instagram, I was not on Instagram. I think hot take, I think Instagram is one of the stupidest apps to ever exist. I don't get the point of scrolling and looking at people's photos. Like, I don't really see the point. Like, TikTok, okay, I kind of get, because that's like a little video and it's kind of interactive and entertaining. I guess, no, I shouldn't say it's stupid and I don't get the point. It's a matter of, I'm not entertained by scrolling and looking at people's photos. Like, oh, I'm at the beach, hashtag slay, hashtag beach girl. Like, I don't get enjoyment from that, but like somebody next to me might, and that, you know what, that's great. That's your prerogative. You got that, babes. That's good. And maybe I just don't understand what the point of Instagram is. Like, maybe the purpose that I think it's for, maybe it's not purely for entertainment. Maybe it's more just for pushing out products or pushing out other information. That might be more what it's for, and maybe that's why I don't understand. A lot of times people will be like, I sent you a reel, and I'm like, are we fishing? A what? A what? What did you send me? And I'll be like, girl, I don't check that. Like, if you sent me a little video on there, I'm so sorry. I am not watching that. I did not see it. And I'm definitely, that was when I had the app on my phone. Now that I've deleted the app, babes, please save your time, save your energy. Take care of your thumbs. Do not send me anything, because you absolutely will not get an answer now that I don't even have the app. There's literally no reason for me to be on there now. Yeah, as I said, pretty much did away with my socials. I still have my TikTok, and I still get on there every once in a while. I think there's some, I think TikTok's kind of funny, and there's some silly, goofy stuff on there, but again, it can also get kind of political, and it can also get really sad. There are some really sad things that you see on there, again, bullying and people being rude in comment sections, and that's kind of with every single social media app. You will see that, and that's very unfortunate. But, okay, so I kind of dogged on social media, so obviously by now, if you have not figured out where I stand on social media, I think it's pretty clear I kind of lean anti-socials, right? Well, there's not, this is mainly to focus on social media, but let's just focus on phones in general for a second, because one thing that I think is great and terrible about my generation and what we experience is just how connected we are. We are just a phone call, just a text message away, and I think that's super awesome. Thank goodness I don't have to write a letter and then put it in a bottle and ship it across the Atlantic just to say hi to my mom because I went on vacation. That's nice, I don't have to wait 3 or 4 weeks just for my letter to get across the state to my best friend. That's also really nice. If somebody goes on a vacation, they can just send me the photo. They don't have to get a paintbrush and paint what they see and then bring it home to me. No, that's what a postcard is for, babes. So, yeah, I think that's super awesome. And I'll be very honest, I'll be very open for a second. I have a light block blast obsession. Okay. I'm glad. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. I've already been through my intervention process. I am currently, I'm in remission right now. We're doing good. Okay. I've not had any block blast scares lately. I will say that was a really dark time in my life when I was spending 4+ hours a day on block blast, but I've grown, and I'm a better person now. So I feel like I really grew from that experience. Yeah, okay. Moving on. So we're more connected with phones and with social media. it's easier to be informed. And again, that's good and bad. I think being in an age of information, it like almost leaves us with no excuse to be ignorant. Now, granted, I still come across extremely ignorant people, and I just kind of have to look at them and be like, how? Because you can literally turn on your TV, you can watch SpongeBob, and I swear you will walk away with something. Because there's no way, like, unless you were literally walking around with your fingers in your ears going la 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 with a blindfold on, there's literally no way that you're not seeing things in the world around you, that you're not comprehending things that are going on in the world around us. And if you have a stinking phone in your hand and you're still not comprehending the world around us and the things that are going on, please, wake up. That if you don't do anything else in your life, wake up. Get out of wherever thing you're in and actually read an article online every once in a while. Or better yet, and I think my generation has forgot how to do this one, go read a book. Because I'm telling you what, I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a light tangent here because I'm so extremely embarrassed by the lack of English and reading skills that my generation has. I'm genuinely so embarrassed when I go to an event with with my peers and we have to read aloud, and some of my peers, I swear, I feel like they read at 1 word per minute. I'm like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're sitting there sounding out the word cat phonetically? What? When it comes to writing things, because, I'm about to start college, and we're at the level where we write things, and I see the way that some of my peers write, and I'm like, holy Shayla, girl, you need to send about 20 less snaps and spend about 20 more minutes working on increasing your vocabulary and learning how to punctuate correctly. Because I genuinely, babes, I need you to understand. And this is why I get so worked up, because I need you to understand, like, when I say, and I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating or making this up. When I say there are people who are eligible to vote, meaning that they're at least 18 years old in the United States of America, when I say these people are able to vote, but literally could not tell you what a compound sentence is. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't know what a compound sentence is. Okay, then you know what? That is no hate, no shade to you. But I guarantee you, if I asked you to write one, you could probably figure it out. Like, you probably subconsciously, if you're listening to this podcast and you're still listening at this point, you're not the problem. I promise. And if you somehow maybe are the problem, but you're still listening to this point, you're about to not be the problem, because you're doing this thing where you're like educating yourself and being like, okay. And even if this goes in one ear and out the other, holy Shayla, thank you for letting it at least go in. Because I swear sometimes you tell people things and it just like bonk right off the front of their head and then falls right on the floor in front of you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that didn't resonate at all. But back to what I was saying. The lack of reading comprehension and abilities there is just so sad. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not talking about people who struggle with learning or have learning disabilities. No. I'm talking perfectly capable 18-year-olds, like 18-year-olds that can weld and operate machines. Like perfectly capable, not able to write and punctuate a sentence. Not even a single subject sentence. Like, I genuinely, when it will never, ever, ever be okay to use a lowercase I in a sentence, but especially to use a lowercase I, like as in the pronoun, on your resume. And again, I really, really wish I was joking, but I'm so like freaking mad right now because I have literally seen that. I literally had to explain to someone, hey, you can't submit a college paper with a lowercase I in it as a pronoun. Why? Because that's not how it's formatted. It is never, ever, ever been a lowercase I, and it never will be. And like the fact that teachers have to explain to us, hey, you guys can't write papers and submit papers the way you text. Like, no shit, Sherlock. I thought that was kind of self-evident. I didn't think we needed to be told that. Why? Where has common sense gone? And I'm so sorry that I'm getting this serious over a freaking comma. Like, it's not that deep. But babes, it is that deep. Because that's sad. And again, that's so embarrassing. And I'm not even the one doing it. My mom, God bless her, love that woman, she taught me how to punctuate a sentence. I don't have to be embarrassed when I write my papers and submit them to my professors. My professors are like, oh my God. Like, you know what an Oxford comma is? Yeah, babes. Yeah, I do. And I know how to use a semicolon. Boom. Period, bitch. Like, come on, girls. Come on, babes. Let's lock it in. I'm not holding this against nobody. And if you're still listening at this point, you're thinking, yeah, maybe I haven't been doing it right. You know what? No hate, no shame. Because I bet you're doing the best you can. If you're making it to this part, you are not the problem. I can't reiterate that enough. So I'm going to move on. Because you see, I'm getting a little angsty here. So I was going to address the cons of excessive technology and using social media. But I think I pretty much hit it. Like, I was really trying to, that whole section was supposed to be providing the positives, and instead it just made me so angry because it's like, I'm not finding it, and I'm not going to fully blame the technology itself. It's definitely the individuals using it. Like, absolutely, at the end of the day, I will acknowledge the phone is not the problem, it's the person using the phone. And that does kind of bring me to one of my next points is how being more connected and being online more has led to more bullying. Unfortunately, the amount of cases where people have been bullied online and then made a poor choice and then or decided that, you know, their life did not have value, which is so extremely unfortunate and absolutely not okay in any way, shape, or form. And if you're ever struggling, please reach out. 998, there's other helplines that you can use, but get help. And if you're being bullied online, report, tell somebody, let someone know what's going on. There are people who want to help. But again, my thing is, I have seen by proxy, I've participated in programs that kind of discuss the effects of cyberbullying, and it very rarely has an end result that, you know, turns things around. It's very sad to see the damage that it can do to an individual. So if you're the one online and you're saying things, which I hope nobody listening to this is doing this, but if you're being unkind, I just encourage you to really think before you hit post. And another thing that I kind of want to touch on, it kind of has to do with that, is digital footprint. I don't think this gets talked about enough at schools, because some of the things I see people post, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, there's no way you looked at that photo and thought, yeah, let me post that. Like, I think sometimes we forget, like, we have a future, and that in the future, employers or people looking to lend us things, they might go online and they might see these things. And if any individual wants to sit there and be ignorant and think, well, yeah, I posted a picture of me smoking a joint at 15, but that's not going to hurt my chances of getting a job. Yeah, if you want to sit there and think that, by all means, go ahead and do that. But I can almost 100% promise you, babes, that's probably not the look you think it is. Maybe your little friends might think that's cool, but I guarantee you, a picture of you smoking with the caption, 15 years old, already got this shit rolled, I promise you that's as goofy and funny as that, like, kind of is. Like, honestly, that actually is kind of funny. But that's also, again, that's funny to 18-year-old me, who has a total of 2 bills, has never paid taxes, barely works, lives in her parents' house. Like, that's funny to me because I have no true liabilities or obligations. I can promise you for a fact that is not funny at all to an employer who's looking to invest in you by making you a part of their company or a part of their business. I promise you that is not cute to them. So my encouragement there is go back through your socials whenever you feel like you are ready, when you feel like you've matured. Because I get it. When we're young, we post stupid little things. Girl, I could pull out some crazy little TikTok drafts that I posted when I was younger. And then I went back and I was like, yeah, babes, this ain't gonna age well. I could totally dig those up for you. And I I'll be the first person to do it, because I will be real and say that everything I'm preaching about, I have done. Except for cyberbullying. I've never believed in bullying, period. That one, like, again, I might have put a nasty, okay, actually, I can't say I have a cyber, because one time this old man, I'm sorry, I'm going to do a little sidebar story, because one time this old man said something really, really inappropriate in the Facebook comment section, and I may or may not have replied with something along the lines of, "You are the reason that condoms were made." Not my finest moment, and I will tell you already, I've long gone back and deleted that comment, because I'm like, that was so rude. My mama did not raise me to be like that. But I'm gonna be also really real. I got that from my mama, because that's some shit my mama would have said. But I'm just saying, she raised me to be the bigger person, and to not be like that to people. That would have been, in that moment, my mom would have been like, "Lily, you can say that in your head, but you can't say that to him, because that's rude." And again, looking back now that I've matured, I can say, you know what? That was so rude of that condom to not catch you. Because what? I'm so sorry. I was really trying. I was trying to get there. But what you mean you being racist? Don't do that. That's rude. That's so... Okay, y'all. Moving on. We're going to keep moving. Because it's festering. It's growing. Because this is so serious. And this is so important to me. And I know I'm joking. I'm cutting up. Like, am I really that angry? No, I'm really just... I'm passionate. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Is I'm really not angry. But I'm very passionate about my generation especially. I want us to be so much better than what we are now, because where we are now, we have so much potential and we're just not using it. And there's so many different factors that go into it, but social media and excessive use of cell phones is definitely right up there towards the top of the list of why we are so far from reaching our full potential, because we can't get our stinking noses out of our laptops, out of our cell phones, out of our iPads. We can't do that. We can't seem to do that long enough to even have a conversation with somebody sitting right next to us. I'll never forget. I've been going to more conventions, and what I've noticed is I go to these events and the adults or whoever's in charge will be like, "Okay, you guys just talk amongst yourselves, and then we'll get activity started," or whatever. And the way everybody just turns and looks at each other like they're a freaking deer about to get hit by a semi flying 60 mile an hour. I'm like, hello? Like, I literally, the way I genuinely cannot understand, because I will ask somebody like my age, again, I don't have these problems when I ask like Gen Xers or like millennials or boomers. Like, I don't have this problem with them. Like, they could yap my ear off. But I asked somebody like my age an open-ended question, and I kid you not, I get maybe a 3-word response. Babes, that is not the point of an open-ended question. Like, and I genuinely think we've forgotten how to have like conversations. And I kind of touched on this. When I ask you like, well, where are you from? Chicago. Okay, great. Do you want to maybe describe what the scenery is like? Green. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's literally what it feels like to have a conversation, a quote-unquote conversation with somebody our age. I don't think people my age understand that the whole point is to like connect, and to do so, you have to answer with more than like one word. So it's not just, "Oh, Lily, what's your favorite sport?" Basketball. Oh, okay, why? Yeah, you see how I don't have to be prompted, though? The question could go, "Lily, what's your favorite sport?" Man, it's basketball because I love the Dallas Mavericks, and Luka Doncic used to play for them. He don't play for them no more, but I still love the That's what it can be. That's what it should be. It doesn't have to be one-word answer. Okay, wait for the next prompt. Okay, then one-word answer. Wait for the next prompt. But that's how my generation is. We need the next prompt. We can't just seem to discuss and expand on a topic. No, we have to be prompted to do so. And I know this for a fact because I've seen it so many times, especially in school. We would give presentations and People would always ask, and I'm sorry, I'm getting loud again because, again, it makes me so mad. We have so much access to technology. We can have any question answered in a matter of seconds with Google. One of the first questions that people always ask the teacher when we get assigned a presentation is, there's two. I'd say they probably tie. The first one is, how many slides? How many words does it need to have? Mother Shayla! Okay. And the second one is, I realize it's Wikipedia. Babes, you know what? Considering you're asking that question, I'm going to assume you probably don't even know the URL to get to Google Scholar. So I'm going to say yes. Go ahead and use Wikipedia. Because that's about the closest we're probably going to get you to Google Scholar. And heaven forbid, if you can't even... if Wikipedia is about the only thing you can read online, the only tertiary source you can actually use, then I'm definitely not counting on you to pick up a textbook or any sort of book, actually. Not even a freaking Time magazine so you can present on walruses. I don't even think I expect that from you at that point. Because babes. Both of those questions, you don't need the teacher to answer. First off, to answer the first question, how many slides do I need? As many as it takes. If you can present about the topic in one freaking slide, babes, do it. Do it. And for the second part, can you use Wikipedia? Sure. You can start there, but don't end there. Okay? There's a reason that evidence goes tertiary, secondary, primary. You start with the tertiary, then you deep dive into those sources that are provided there. Then you go to secondary, then you deep dive into those sources, and hopefully that takes you to a primary source. That's typically how good evidence works. Again, the amount of people in my generation that don't know that if you scroll to the bottom of the Wikipedia article, there's all these sources and citations, and there's these little links that are all linked. You can click on them, and then it will probably take you to some sort of scholarly, sometimes, not always, some sort of scholarly or secondary source. And almost always, from that, you can get to some sort of primary source. You can either source an image or something like that of the original source that which that information was deduced from. I've gotten a little far off because now I'm telling people how to do a research paper. And that's not my job. I don't get paid what a teacher does. But honestly, low-key, teachers don't get paid enough. So, okay, whatever. Either way, that's not the point here. I'm going to get right back on track, right back online. Keep following this. And I guess this actually leads perfectly into my next point in terms of sourcing and online information. Because now that AI has become so prominent, there have been so many issues that have begun to arise. And so the first part of AI that I want to talk about is just like the phones, how it's used, it depends on the person. AI probably isn't the issue. It's honestly the people using it. AI can be used for good or it can be used for bad. And we each can make that decision. But again, if you're making a decision and you're choosing to do the latter and do the bad things, then you are the problem. Now, I know something that I've actually discussed with some of my best teachers that I have the most intellectual conversations with. How are people going to begin to start legislating AI? And I'm really, really curious to see that because we're getting into a realm where people can create imagery and things that aren't real using AI, but it can also be used to copy, forge, do several other not so great things, and so especially illegal things. And so I'm really curious, how is that going to be legislated, and has it already started? I don't know. I'd have to do my research, but I am very curious to see what type of legislation we see roll out. Now, on the flip side, and this kind of on a different note, is how AI helps students and how it hurts students. And I call it the paper allegation theory because, again, this is self-created and this is not a real phenomenon or anything, but it's something I have noticed is we have gotten to the point where AI use has become so egregious that you have students who truly still have that creativity and still write their own papers, and we are getting shamed and we are not getting the grades we deserve because the teacher just assumes it was AI. Like, never in my... If you would have told first grade Lily that there would come a day where she would get in trouble for using a word or a term that isn't commonly used by 18-year-olds, and that not only would... And it wasn't even a matter of, oh, yeah, that was just... That just doesn't seem like something a senior in high school would write. No. You're getting, oh, this was written by AI. Who? Oh! Because let me tell you, that one made my blood boil. Because you can come at a lot of things, but how dare you accuse me of asking a robot, no offense to any AI or whatever, asking a robot to write my paper? How dare you say that my work, my intellect was not in that? Because contrary to popular belief, some of the people in my generation can still be creative. Some of us have original ideas. Some of us know how to use a word that has more than 8 letters in it. So I'm sorry that I use the term indubitably in my paper and that now you think it's AI. I'm sorry that you have so little faith in my generation because so many of them do use AI. I'm so sorry that you're doubting whether or not I have true intellect and that I can write you a good paper and use that kind of language, that I can use educated language. Apologies. Yeah, now we're starting to get to the root of the issue. And I think now, if you haven't really figured out by now, you can understand that this is a lot deeper than just Snapchat, TikTok, ChatGPT, Grok. It's deeper than that. Because it is affecting individuals. It is affecting people who are so innocent. And I've been a victim of that. I have been accused of not using my own ideas, my own intellect. And let me tell you what. When you strive and you work for years to work on that, just that, being able to create original ideas, being able to use language that makes you sound educated, and not just sound educated, but the fact that you know how to appropriately use the language, meaning you can use it in context, meaning you know what you're talking about, what you're discussing. Imagine being in that situation and then being told, nope, that wasn't you. What have I spent years and years and years with my head in a book for? What have I spent years of late nights for you to just end up saying, nope, you let a robot write that? The hell I did. Really? Come on. That's not just, and I'm not going to sit here and just say that's on the teacher. Absolutely not. That is also on the people in my generation. I'm just as frustrated with them as I am with the professor, because that's your fault. For each and every individual in my generation that relies on AI to write your stinking papers, thanks. You're the problem. Not just the professor, not just the teacher. But you see who's not the problem here? It's not the AI robot itself. Because you put your prompt in, and of course the chatbot's just going to do what you asked it to do. What else is it supposed to do? It doesn't know you're cheating unless you physically tell it that you're cheating. And I've actually tried it before. I've actually went on to ChatGPT and was like, hey, can you help me cheat on a test? And literally it goes, hey, so no, that goes against my guidelines. I can't do that. So yeah, even ChatGPT knows that cheating is not right. So if you explicitly tell it that's what you're going to do, I can promise you right now, it's not going to help you. Because even ChatGPT, even freaking, what's her name? The Google lady, the Emerald, whatever her name is, Andromeda, whatever, I don't care what her name is. But either way, even she will be like, oh no, babes, you got to figure that out. Siri, I don't even ask Siri. I don't even think Siri's AI. I don't know what she is, but I don't even ask her questions no more because she just don't be answering me no how. I'd be like, Siri, what are the words to Mary Had a Little Lamb? And she'd be like, hands on my knees, shaking hands, something like that shit. I'm like, Siri! I don't remember it going like that, girl. But no, seriously, we need to do better as a society. And we have to start being original, creating our own ideas. Because When we reach a point as a society where we can no longer create our own ideas, where we rely on AI and other technology and chatbots to create things for us, we're doomed, okay? And it is that, I'm not being dramatic, it is that serious. Because at which point we stop creating things on our own, okay, who is going to design the next cancer treatment? Who is going to continue to further the medicine that we have? Who is going to continue to develop our technology? How are we going to continue to improve infrastructure? It's that deep. The AI use, excessive use, it needs to stop. And it's not just my generation. So many people, but you got to slow down. It's not that you can't use it at all, but you got to be using it the right way. Because I guarantee you, next time you need a surgery, you don't want your brain surgeon to have AI'd his way through his school. Because I promise you that's probably not going to go well. So yeah, next time you think about using your AI, you just think about where that's going to actually get you, where that's going to land you. Use it appropriately. Have it help you check and go find a source yourself, and then ask AI, hey, how can I determine whether or not this is a good source? Or can you help me source this and find out if this is reliable? Yeah, that's an appropriate way to use the AI chat. Now, don't ask it to get your sources for you and then create your outline for you. That's not okay. But it can be used appropriately, and it can be integrated and help us become better students. I'm going to move on from the AI thing, but I also kind of want to know anybody's opinions on that too. Please drop a comment and tell me your thoughts on AI, or reach out to me, however, whether it's on the YouTube. I really want to hear other people's opinions. I want to hear your takes. And if you are pro AI and you do use it a lot, or if you felt attacked by that section, let me know. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you use it, how you keep that use to be appropriate, or if you don't use it correctly, why. So definitely, I'd love to know. But I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to go back to socials a little bit. The Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Again, these are all great ways for us all to stay connected and for us to receive information. But again, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of unkindness and bullying that you can see on there. I really think that's sad and that's unfortunate. Something else that I find to be very sad, you're seeing a lot, the ages of people that you see on these apps, it keeps getting younger. That's terrifying. Like, AI doesn't scare me, but that does. The thought that there's 6-year-olds doing TikTok dances and posting them, and their parents have no clue. That's absolutely terrifying. There's some really, really weird people out there on the internet. And there's some people who do some really, really weird things. I would encourage all parents, watch your kids. Because some of the things I've especially noticed this trend. I've seen this firsthand. I look at some of the younger classmen in my school, and the things they talk about and the things they say, I am just flabbergasted. I am like, how do you know about that? Like, some of the things they say, like, make me blush, and I'm 18. I'm like, what? I'm like, and where are you getting this from? And they'll of course they talk about, they're like, oh, where they saw it or where they heard that. And it's usually something online or, a TikTok or whatever. And I'm like, that's so sad. Like, I remember at that age, I had not a clue what most of those things were. The biggest thing on my mind was whether or not I was going to get a cookie or extra applesauce at lunch. Like, really, that was my biggest concern. But the things these kiddos be into now and what they deal with now, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's vile. Vile that you know that, or that you talk about that. And again, it's because having that much access and that free access to socials and to being online at that age, you can't convince me that is healthy. I don't think anybody will ever sell me that is healthy. And again, this is very anecdotal. I look back now that I'm older because I think I got TikTok when I was maybe 15 or 16. I had asked my mom and she says, oh, okay, we'll allow that. That was the first type of social media I had ever had. I had never had any other sort of social media. And so I got TikTok when I was 15, and then later, my mom allowed me to get Snapchat at 16. At the time, I didn't understand. I just could not understand. I'm like, well, Mom, I want to be like all the other kids. All the other kids are on Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. I don't want to be on. And I was always like, no. She's like, you don't need that yet. Like, you're good. And again, at the time, I did not understand. But now that I'm 18, and Mom, if you're listening, girl, you go ahead. You'll clock me next time you see me, because, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and admit it. I could not thank my mom enough if I tried. Because, yes, I still ended up being exposed to some of the things that I would have been had I been on it earlier. But at least by the time I was exposed, I was more mature and I was more ready to handle it. And I was also at the age where I would see things and I could actually go and talk to my mom about it, because nobody wants their 8-year-old coming to them with questions about certain reproductive activities. That's terrible. That's really, really terrible. And let me tell you right now, social media will do that. There are parents who are struggling with that, just that, because their kids have early access to social media. It's like, no. Yes, is that partially maybe on parents for not quite monitoring? Yeah, but, I'm also not going to hold that against them. But that's also on the apps themselves for not moderating. Because what do you mean that you're letting people dance without their clothes on TikTok? That's not appropriate. Quite frankly, even at 18, I don't find that to be appealing. Like, I don't find the entertainment in that. Now, just because I don't doesn't mean other people. There might be people who are like, oh yeah, get it, stripper. I need medication. I will never understand that, or maybe one day I will understand that. But as of right now, where I'm currently at, I don't understand that, and I don't find the appeal. And so I think my biggest takeaway from this segment is, my goodness, this is kind of toward parents, but also towards just everybody. Protect your mind, protect your kids' minds, and you can't keep them from any sort of exposure. But there's nothing wrong with prolonging that. There's nothing wrong with pushing back when they are exposed. Because I just will never ever see a world where the little 12 and 13-year-olds that I hear at school talking about some of the most inappropriate things. There's never ever a time where I'm going to say, oh, that's normal. And at the point that we as a society start to just say, yeah, that's normal. That's kids these days. No. We should never ever normalize that or allow that. And shame on society if we end up doing that. But heck, I hope that if no other episode of this podcast ever makes it out, I hope this one does. So everybody can hear this message, because this is a message to everybody. We all need to do better, okay? This is not on one person. This is all of us. So the last thing that I'm going to touch on, we are getting close to the end of this episode, and if you have made it this far, you're a goat. You're such a goat. And I'm sorry this episode's kind of dragging on, but as you can see, I am so extremely passionate about this discussion. This is definitely kind of switching gears a little bit. I'm going to talk online dating. There are, of course, the good things. It's definitely easier to connect with people in your area and find people who might have similar interests as you. But yeah, it can also be dangerous if you're not smart about how you do it. And then there's also the risk of catfishing. Nobody wants to be the person that gets a phone call from their bank that their account information and all of their money has been drained and stolen because they shared it with some quote-unquote lady on the internet that was just using them. Or it turned out to be some 60-year-old dude from Atlanta posing to be a young 20-year-old, beautiful 20-year-old. Yeah. It can sometimes be very disingenuous. We don't realize, and this kind of brings that AI back. Like, you have to remember, AI is getting to be pretty smart, pretty legitimate, and some of the things that it creates, it can be hard to decipher. So yeah, you might be on a dating app and you might swipe right on this beautiful, gorgeous looking man. But babes, be careful that that's not AI. Okay, because you might think that you are getting the Ken model. Yeah, babes, there is a chance that you're getting the Davy Jones straight out the locker. I tell you what, if you want your Donald Trump dupe, your DJT lookalike, by all means, go ahead, go for the AI looking man. But let me tell you, I told you so. Don't say I didn't warn you, okay? If something looks too good to be true, it probably is. And I put that on my mom. I say that's on my mom. I don't mean like as in that's on her, but I mean like my mama taught me that. And that would be one of the best. I mean, she's taught me some fantastic lessons, but that one especially. Yeah, I'm glad she taught me that early. Because if it looks too good to be true, babes, I promise you it is, and you don't want that. It might look, the more you want it, the more you probably, it's not good for you. Not gonna need that. I'm just gonna say, okay? Online dating can be good, and it does work for some people. I've heard stories of people who are like, yeah, I found my love and now we're married. I'm like, oh my god, like, yes, babes, like, that's so freaking sweet, and I love that. Like, those are the kinds of stories that like warm my little heart. I'm like, oh, like, there is still hope for humanity. Wow. When we're not ChatGPTing our college papers. Yeah. Okay. Nope. We're not going back. We're not going back. I am going to start wrapping this up because it looks like my portable battery is at 61. I think I've been yapping for almost an hour now. I have to, of course, take my time to let you guys know if you made it this far. Oh my gosh, bro, if you made it this far, you are literally an elite Shayla. So elite. 18 W's for you, specifically, if you made it to this point. But no, for real, guys, we've got to do better with social media. We've got to use it in moderation, and we've got to put restraints. We cannot rely on Google and AI to answer every question. We're sometimes just going to have to truly think or use a different source. That part alone already puts you ahead of most. If you can type into Google using keywords and find what you want, you're already ahead of most. Lastly, I don't know if this seems like it's contradictory to what I've said this whole time, but we need to be comfortable with technology. And we need to educate and be aware. We can't always just run away from this out of fear, especially this towards the older generation. I understand it's intimidating and it can be confusing, but please do your best to keep fighting the good fight and remaining educated, because you guys are the only thing that are going to be able to help my generation and keep the little ones safe. And I mean the little guys younger than me. I look at the things that they're in, and like I said, it's so sad and so vile. And the only way to help and aid that is it starts with the older generations. And I know it's annoying, it's obnoxious, like I can't figure this out. Please keep asking questions, keep trying to figure out how to use the technology, because without you there to moderate, you are the last thing that we have to try and save the younger generation. And so we need you guys. And then specifically addressing my generation, guys, please, read a book. No, don't even read a book. Read a magazine. Read a graphic novel. Those have pictures. Woo! Guys, we gotta get outside more. I went on a walk with my two best friends the other day, and we took my pup. Oh my gosh. Literally one of the most refreshing. I didn't know how bad I needed that. And I can tell you, the whole entire time we were on that walk, I don't think anybody pulled out a cell phone once. Honestly, I almost left mine at home, but then I was like, in case I get kidnapped, let me bring that so my mom can track me, because she will come, guns blazing, dun, 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 when she finds who stole me. Okay. I would hate to be that mother, Shayla. Meet my mama. But no, seriously, guys, we've got to think for ourselves, be creative, because we also have to help the little guys, help keep them out of that nonsense, okay? Because we are the future. And the future does not need robots, does not need people who cannot formulate a sentence or punctuate or capitalize the I, the pronoun I. Please, if you don't do anything else after listening to this podcast, at least do that. At least capitalize your I's when it's a pronoun. Please, please. I'm begging. I beggeth of you. You see how important English is to me. It's really not that important. I actually was not very good at English, but that one irks me, okay, every time. Serious, guys. I know I was a little sassy this whole episode. I'm sorry. I'm very passionate. Like I've said a million times, and you're sick of hearing me say. Thank you so much for listening. And again, if you made it to the end of this episode specifically, I really do just want to take a moment and say, hey, thanks. Because thank you for listening. And if you're older, if you're part of the older generation, then especially big thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me out despite my age. Because I know when you see something about social media and digital with somebody my age, you think, oh, here they go, trying to defend it or say how it's so great. But no. I hope I can give a little bit of hope to the older generations that some people my age, and I'm not the only one, there's several of us, we do care. And we do want to use the technology appropriately in the way it was designed. And we want to stop seeing so much of the hatred and negativity. Thank you to everybody who has made it this far. Consider yourself a part of a bigger project that the Shaylas, we need to get rocking out. We have got to get right with tech. So many digital disasters going on. I see a dumpster fire on the left, dumpster fire on the right. But it's up to us Shaylas. We got this. So, do not be the 60-year-old looking man in Atlanta catfishing people. Don't do that. Be an elite Shayla. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Love you guys.
Let's take a minute.